For the record, I am not a person.
Buckle up, guys. Today, we're diving into one of the wildest sovereign citizen courtroom moments yet. It kicks off with Roman Brown declaring he's not a person, stunning the court before fumbling through procedural basics. The gate. This sets the tone for a chaotic journey into fringe legal theories and delusion. You'll know immediately this one's going off the rails fast.
Mr. Brown, do you have any questions for for Corporal?
Yes. He said the person, I am not a person, so I'm trying to figure out.
Do you have a question for for Corporal Spidell? Corporal Spidell, I'm sorry, Corporal.
That's what the officer now.
Do you have a question for the Corporal?
No, I don't have a question.
Do you have any questions for Corporal?
Not for court. I have a question for
You have a question for whom?
the court.
Okay, you don't actually get to ask the court anything unless you have a motion that you'd like to file. The court doesn't really take up any questions at this point. We're in trial. So at this point, if you would like to cross-examine the witness, you may do so now.
No, I don't have any questions for the officer.
Okay, so the witness is free to step down. Will the defendant like to call any witnesses?
Speak for myself.
You would like to take the stand as a witness?
Yes.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you give will be the truth and the entire truth?
Yes.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
For the record, my name is Roman Brown. Living man. You said spell it.
Please spell it. Yes.
Capital R, lowercase O M, lowercase m, lowercase n, lowercase n, capital B, lowercase R, lowercase O, lowercase W, lowercase n.
All right, guys, now the defendant takes the stand on his own behalf and immediately begins unraveling. He calls himself a living man, spells his name bizarrely, and insists he's a non-citizen national who wasn't driving but simply traveling. This isn't testimony, it's a sovereign soliloquy. Every second gets more baffling, but the judge remains impressively composed.
And Mr. Brown, I'm going to have you give your testimony from the podium as you are representing yourself, and you are now the witness as well as the acting on your own behalf as your own attorney. So you may proceed.
Yes. So I was traveling I'm a non-citizen national for the record. I am not a United States citizen. I am not a resident in the state. I live in the United States of America. But I was traveling. I didn't commit any crimes. The officer asked me for his documentation. I gave him the documentations that were valid. The driver's license, he unlawfully detained me. I did not consent to any searches or seizures. He unlawfully violated my rights by going through my private property. He in the documents that he's brought up were like you just stated, they were not valid and they were canceled. So like I stated before, I was traveling. I'm not a driver. I reserve all of my rights.
Now it gets painful. Roman shifts into full sovereign citizen mode, citing UCC codes and claiming he doesn't consent to proceedings. The prosecutor, in contrast, calmly lays out clear legal violations: no registration, no compliance. Roman's fantasies crash into real-world law, and the court begins running out of patience. It's delusion versus reality, and reality's winning.
Mr. Garinger, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
I reserve right of my rights under UCC 1-308.
I'm sorry, UCC, I need to be able to hear you clearly. You reserve all of your rights under?
UCC 1-308.
Okay.
I do not accept this offer. I do not consent to any proceedings. I'm not a United States citizen.
Mr. Brown, I'm going to stop you right now. You can have a seat.
By the defendant's own admission, he canceled his own license. He did not have a valid license on May 12, 2023. He was not able to produce one, nor did he have a valid title, nor was he able to produce one. Your Honor, I believe you have a copy of the MCL code, so I won't go through reciting them all. But it is required in the state of Michigan that if you are on the roadways, that you must have a valid driver's license. It's also required that you're in your motor vehicle. You must have a valid title to that vehicle and registration. Finally, if you're given a lawful order from a police officer, you must obey those commands if they are lawful order. The fact of the matter is that the defendant, Mr. Roman Brown, did not produce those things when he was stopped on May 12th, and he refused to comply with the lawful orders given by Corporal Spidell. Therefore, the people would ask that this honorable court find the defendant guilty on all three counts. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Closing arguments from Mr. Brown.
Here's where things completely break down. Instead of defending himself, Roman launches into another rant about contracts and travel rights. His logic is a tangled mess, but he insists he's done no wrong. The courtroom listens in disbelief. It's an emotional spiral masked as a defense, and the more he talks, the deeper he digs his own grave. The self-sabotage is unreal.
He gave me a ticket for speeding, clearly on video. It just showed that he said that he put me up for.
We don't have a speeding ticket on the record for today.
For a lawful order to be submitted, it has to be a crime being committed. There was no crime being committed. Like I stated before, I was traveling in my automobile, my private conveyance. I was not driving. I am not a driver or an employee like Uber or someone that's transporting goods or property. I'm not a driver. I was traveling from point A to point B. My automobile I don't have an issue with my automobile. It was stored. I was taking it to get it serviced. I was traveling there. I didn't commit any crime now. Like I stated, a lawful order for it to be a lawful order, it has to be a crime present. And I haven't committed any crimes. I did everything that he requested. I gave him all of the documents that were legit on my behalf. He went in my and unlawfully violated my rights by going into my private my private property and getting any information and documents that he did get. And I didn't present those because they weren't valid. It wasn't. They were canceled. So I don't want a contract. I do not consent to any contract. I don't want a contract. I have the right to travel free. I'm a non-citizen national. I am not a United States citizen. I am not a resident. I do not reside in any fictitious address in the United States. I'm a national for the United States of America Republic. I have the right.
5 guys. This might be the most unintentionally comedic patrons like Rule. Lacey demands judicial notice of gibberish and mumbles nonsense no one understands. The judge tries to make sense of it, but it's futile. It's textbook sovereign citizen pseudo-law in action. And it's crumbling fast under the weight of its own absurdity.
I need you to recite your oath of office to uphold the Constitution. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm getting pulled over and took out of my car. That's like kidnapping. I wasn't. Like, this is crazy. This is.
Are you done?
This is Lacey Precinct.
I'm sorry, can you speak that?
Lacey Precinct.
I don't know that I understood that.
This court is operating as a Lacey Precinct.
What is that?
Lacey Precinct.
Don't repeat the words. Tell me what that means.
Okay. This is a notice of Lacey Precinct. A demand for judicial notice of Rule Lacey in a Rule Lacey's court. Notice is hereby given on August 6th of 2024 at 8:30 a.m. or soon thereafter. The matters can be held in courtroom of the above entitled court. Move the court to take judicial notice of the following. This is a demand for judicial notice of Rule Lacey within a Lacey, this court, by being part of the Lacey Precinct Court system, must follow Rule Lacey, which is a quote, a Rule Lacey which all becomes operated in final unless caused by shown against it. Since the court can require and compel performance which is only allowed in the court, which is enforced some type of contract, it is foreign book law that all contracts are either equitable or admissible for enforcement purposes. Based upon the foregoing, this court must take judicial notice that this court is merely enforcing some type of contract that will allow Rule Lacey to apply. Therefore, the court should dismiss this matter and the prosecutor does not produce, if the prosecutor does not produce content on proof with omission, evidence that the accused was involved in an actual being regulated with admissible evidence that invoked the authority of the court. Hearsay or presumption will not be permitted since this is a criminal trial which the accused justly demands due process secure to.
This is it Judgment Day. The judge walks through every detail. Expired tags, refusal to follow commands, no license, no registration. She's precise, firm, and unbothered by Roman's word games. With facts and footage on her side, she finds him guilty on all counts. It's not just a legal defeat, it's a reality check he never saw coming. Truth finally silences theory.
Court has heard testimony from both the corporal officer, Corporal Spadell, who made the stop on May 11th, 2023. The court has also heard testimony from the defendant, Mr. Roman Brown. As it relates, I guess I will start with, one moment. It's Roman Levon Brown. I wanted to make sure I have his full name for the record. Roman Levon Brown. The court has heard testimony that Corporal made the stop on 5/11 or May 11, 2023 in the city of Detroit in the county of Wayne. Corporal Spadell identified Mr. Roman Levon Brown as the defendant sitting in the courtroom in the blue blazer. Corporal, as well as the evidence provided by the people, showed in the video cam that the corporal made the stop based on a expiration of a plate. The color initially caught his attention, indicating that the plate had been expired, giving him probable cause to pull over the black Chevy. He later verified in the lien system that the vehicle had not been registered since 2022. Again, the stop was made 5/11 or May 11th, 2023. The corporal then gave testimony that, as well as seen in the dash cam video, that the defendant was given several instructions to turn off the ignition or to take the key out of the ignition on numerous occasions. The defendant did not comply with the request from the officer to take the key out of the ignition. At one point in the video, the corporal asked that the defendant place the key on the roof of the vehicle. The defendant did not comply with the request of the corporal. Corporal gave instructions for the defendant to step out of his vehicle. The defendant did not comply, initially did not comply with the instructions of the corporal. Corporal also has testified that the defendant, as well as seen in the video, that the defendant did not provide a valid driver's license when asked to do so. The defendant did, in fact, give some form of paper that the court does not have in evidence today. The defendant has not submitted that in evidence today as to what that paper or what those documents were. However, it was not a Michigan driver's license. Corporal then ran, or at some point in the video, was able to obtain the actual driver's license card off of the defendant's person, and later was later learned that the defendant did not have a valid driver's license in the state of Michigan because the defendant canceled his driver's license. Defendant's own admission stated that he canceled his driver's license due to not wanting to have a contract with the state of Michigan. Therefore, the court is going to find the defendant guilty on all three charges, guilty of unregistered, untitled vehicle, which the defendant did not provide a registration at the time of the stop. Lien system verified by Corporal Spadell that the vehicle had not been registered since 2022. Guilty on the count of driving while licensed improper. The Corporal Spadell confirmed, and the court has confirmed, that the driver's license of the defendant is still canceled as of today. And guilty on disregarding the officer's signal or lawful commands of an officer. The officer made lawful commands, although it was not as a result of an arrest at that point in time. The defendant had not been placed under arrest at that time. However, it was a lawful command. The defendant has argued that the commands of the officer were not lawful because he had not violated any of the laws and that he had not done anything wrong, simply to state that you have not done anything wrong does not mean that you have not done anything wrong. Simply to state that you have not violated a law does not mean that your actions or through your actions that you have not violated the laws. In this state, you are required, although you use the word travel, you can use whatever word you'd like to use in this situation. If you are operating a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan, you must have the vehicle registered every year. You must have a valid driver's license as well as insurance in order to operate a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan. I believe that the defendant did provide valid car insurance through Cure, and I don't know that that was brought up on the record, but I did see in the video that there was a Cure insurance certificate provided at the time of the stop. However, there was no indication or no evidence provided that there was a registration or a valid driver's license provided. Again, simply stating a uniform commercial code that explains your acceptance of performance. You accept the performance, or you accept the expectations of your performance based on driving in the state of Michigan. If you decide that you are going to avail yourself of the liberties and the privileges of driving in the state of Michigan, you are expected to have a driver's license and registration in this state. If you didn't, or a valid driver's license in a state that could be verified. And that was not done. Again, the defendant is guilty on all 3 counts. And before we move to sentencing, is there anything that the people would like to state on the record?
The people would leave sentencing in this court's discretion. No objection for immediate sentencing, Your Honor.
Would the defendant like to speak on his behalf regarding sentencing?
Despite the guilty verdict, Roman keeps pushing nonsense, insisting statutes aren't laws and travel isn't driving. The judge shuts it down hard, reinforcing Michigan law and cutting through the fog of fiction. She's done playing, and her tone makes it clear he had every chance, and he blew it. The courtroom finally sees clarity after waves of confusion.
Yes. Like I stated before, I was not driving. I was traveling, and
Is this related to sentencing? We've already determined that tomato, Mr. Brown, regardless of whether or not you were driving, traveling, whatever word you want to use, I've already stated on the record that to operate a motor vehicle in the state of Michigan requires a driver's license. Do you have anything you'd like to state on your behalf before I sentence you, sir? I'm sorry?
I don't recognize the authority. I have not.
It's fine. I do. I recognize this authority. So, and I am I'm probably the only person that matters right now in terms of recognizing the authority of the state and the laws that have been broken by you in this state.
I have a question. So, I didn't know there was a law. That was a law. I thought that was a statute or status,
Again, tomato, it's a statute. It's a statute.
So it's not a law.
It's a law. It's under the Michigan compliant laws, and I am not getting ready to debate this issue with you. You can take that up on appeal because you will have plenty of time to write an appeal.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Are you ready for sentencing?
I'm
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said, yes, ma'am.
Okay, have a seat. So it is quite disappointing to me that not only Corporal Spadell had to spend quite some time with the defendant in this matter on a driving while license suspended, driving while unlicensed. I'm sorry, driving while license improper, I should say, and a registration. The time and resources that it took for this incident, I can only imagine how many laws were actually being violated in the state by other people. How many people were going unprotected, or how many crimes, serious crimes, were being committed at the time that six officers to respond to a no registration.
Even in the final moments. Roman won't stop. He claims he doesn't recognize the court's authority. But the judge shuts that down with a simple truth. She does. And that's all that matters. His sovereign script is finished, and justice is served with a full sentencing. If you enjoyed this courtroom takedown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.